Hello, it is day 0 of Anime Impulse and we just got ready for the most part. I'm here with my sister.
Hello.
And we're getting our badge. If you didn't know, there are multiple cons at the same time. There is Anime Impulse, which is the main one. There's Asian American Expo, K-Play Fest, and then Sneaker Expo. We're finally here. We are at table 1709. And this is the artist alley. Very exciting. Well done. She's my neighbor. See you tomorrow. Hello, it is Saturday, January 14th. It is day 1 of Anime Impulse LA. Not really, well, I guess it's LA because we're in Pomona. We just finished setting up and it doesn't start for another 24 minutes. But I'm not expecting too much from this event, to be honest. It is a 2-day event. It is today and tomorrow, which is Sunday. We are in the same building as the voice actors, so this is Artist Alley. And then voice actors are all the way over there, and it goes around, so we'll see how it goes. These are the info on the table and prices and everything. Here's the finished setup.
Are you sure, Chris?
I moved the Chainsaw Man stickers just because they used to be here for ALA, but I feel like no one really saw them. Moved them up there and then moved whatever was up here down here, and hopefully it doesn't affect their sales too much, but you can't really see it, especially if someone's covering it in front of you. Also, if you're curious as to what it looks like behind the booth, there is a few feet of space in between the vendor behind us. However, it's not a lot, and they don't really have restrictions on whether you can put a banner or not. But it is good to have some space between an aisle so people can walk through like that. Starting to fill up. Those are the lines for the voice actors. So it's been a while. I will say that if you are interested in this event, I do recommend going high on your height because I don't think there's a height limit that I'm aware of. I know there was on the orientation sheet, but no one's following it. However, as long as it's safely fastened on the table, I don't mind. And this is the back of the table display. As you can see, it is a 6-foot table. However, I think it's a little bit wider than 2 feet.
What's the locking pin guy?
So there's these, so it's like less likely to come off compared to like a rubber backing clutch. So
are they normally different?
Usually it's like a rubber backing clutch.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So it's more so like if it's on a backpack or something where it's more likely to snag. But usually it's fine with like a regular.
Yeah, we bought one of these. I just want to ask a question.
Yeah.
I assume that the fancy Gojo one is not included in the 340.
No, unfortunately not. So you can mix and match all of them except for whatever's in here.
Oh, I didn't see this. Oh, perfect. Thank you.
I have to say, it is raining really hard outside. Pretty much 100% chance of rain this whole day, and it is literally dripping rain on the lower part of the venue. However, it did feel pretty busy. I don't know if it's because the voice actors are in the same hall. Overall, the numbers though, I feel like the number of transactions was about okay. It's not like my best selling for a Saturday, but it also wasn't like my worst selling. I would just have to see how much revenue we made today though. I know we broke even, which is good, but we'll see how it goes. It was pretty busy for the most part, but there were a few lulls. It just didn't help that it was raining outside. Like, it was pouring the entire day. We'll see how tomorrow goes. Just be aware that when you are entering the Pomona Fairplex from Gate 9, there is a slight downhill, a bridge, and then there's a slight uphill. So note that if you are bringing things in on a wagon. Morning, it is Sunday, January 15th, and it is day 2 of Anime Impulse. We are here really early. There's like no one here, but I think it's great because it gives me time to just take my time putting everything away, at least so it's ready for tonight when we are moving out. Just an overview on yesterday now that I had time to sleep on it and just think about everything that happened. After counting the numbers, I think, at least for me, it was pretty satisfactory. It wasn't amazing numbers. However, I was able to cover all of my costs and then a lot more, but I have done a little bit better on other cons on a Saturday. But just based on that numbers, I would consider doing Anime Impulse again next year for this location. There was a little bit of drama, I will say, because it was pouring pretty much all day yesterday and even all night. Out of all of the locations for Sneaker Expo, the Anime Impulse Vendor Hall, and K-Playfest, and I'm assuming in addition to Asian American Expo, our building was the only one where it was leaking, at least towards the entrance of the artist alley. Unfortunately, a lot of the other vendors did get their stuff wet. I did see some people's Instagram stories where they basically had to tarp either a majority or a portion of their display because it was getting their prints or their merch wet, which was really unfortunate. Impulse did provide some buckets, and like some people were using trash cans to capture the excess water, but like overall, like a lot of the floor did get wet. I think also just because like people coming in from the rain. I'll also add that I didn't really see a lot of Anime Impulse staff / volunteers throughout all of yesterday. If anything, I did see more of security walking by. I'm not really used to conventions like checking in on artists or just vendors in general. However, when I was in line for a few of the voice actors just to give them like their pins and stickers of their character, I did overhear one of the voice actor's assistants talking to the person in front of me saying they pretty much didn't have time to eat all day just because staff didn't check in on them. Plus, usually there is con staff helping them out just to make sure that everything's okay with them and making sure that they do get a break just so they can have line management. But I feel like, at least based on my experience and what I saw, there wasn't much line management at all. It was really hard to tell where the end of the line was from my perspective, and even then it didn't seem like there was staff making sure that they did get a break and checking in to make sure that they had time on their own. So I don't know how it's gonna be today. I did not see staff at all except for checking in, so I need to put away that tarp, but this is how the back of our table looks. Also, when I mentioned increasing your height, I really do encourage having a really tall display if it's possible and if you have the merch for it, because as you can see, like a lot of people's displays are really tall, and I feel like if you have a really short display, as in like 3 cubes or even 2 cubes and lower, it's not necessarily a really bad thing, but it is a little disadvantageous just because you might be overlooked compared to all the other tall displays. So I do encourage having a really tall one. For example, ours is 5 grid cubes high. I get to meet Ashley. Hello. It's so nice seeing her booth in person.
Hello. No, can I get first this please? Okay. That and then nani.
The third one you said nani?
Yeah.
Okay. And just to double check, you wanted these 3 stickers?
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna get a fishing sticker. It's 12, right?
Yes. Okay. That's exactly 12. And you're all set. Thank you.
Could I get the fish and chips?
Anything else? That'll be 14, and then you're paying with card. Right, so for the keychain with box, this is your total. And you can tap or insert whenever you're ready. Somewhere like around the top part. Oh. And then it'll ask you a few questions on the keychain. Right, and you're all set. Thank you. Have a good one.
I think it's really nice when people stop when I'm recording something.
Does it, like, I like it when there's some kind of movement in a video, especially like when they point things out. Like, it just looks better. Like, personally, I like having like B-roll where there's something moving somewhere, whether that's you moving or like someone else is.
I noticed from your videos, so I start like,
Yay! Protege. My little protege. They do have a scavenger hunt, and this is a map of all of the events. So an update on yesterday, I don't remember if I brought it up. However, because of the leakage, they did allow a few tables to move over closer into the center of the building where there aren't any leaks. You can see it
over there. There's like a few extra tables somewhere there.
So far, I feel like it's about the same as yesterday in terms of like how busy it is. There are a few people in line for the voice actors, and to be honest, I thought it would be a bit of a deterrent with big crowds, and then it'll be difficult to like line up if you do want to buy something with the artists who are right in front of the voice actors. However, I did hear that some people did super well because they are in that location, so maybe it's like a mixed thing or it did help in their favor. Also, if you're not familiar, I think I mentioned this before, this event does have multiple smaller events within this vicinity of Pomona Fairplex. So the main one is Anime Impulse. There's also K-Play Fest, Sneaker Expo, and Asian American Expo. For attendees, I believe it's about $20 for the whole weekend, which is a really good deal because there's a lot of free stuff, especially with the Asian American Expo. And that $20 does grant you admission to all of these events. And there really is a lot to do. I feel like I wouldn't mind coming here as an attendee rather than a vendor because there's a lot of it. Also, there's a little bit of a food area, so it kind of reminds me of a mini version of 626. It is currently 2:32. Overall, I know there's still 5 more hours until this con ends, but I thought I would give my comments now. Looking at yesterday's revenue and today's revenue, I feel like it's a little bit similar to Anime Pasadena in terms of numbers. The transactions are pretty low, but most often than not, they buy a little bit more, whether that's taking advantage of the 3 for $40 deal or the 3 for $12 on stickers. I would do this event again. However, I know there were a few disasters with yesterday. My decision would probably be different if I was affected by the rain. Fortunately, I wasn't, just based on my table location. Supposedly, people who did get their tables rained on yesterday would get comped at least for yesterday. But I think just based on how convenient it is, because I am pretty local-ish, I would do this event again. However, I don't think it's advisable if you do have to fly or if you're not from California, in my opinion.
Another anime event, another takoyaki order. We're all done cleaning up and it took us a bit of a while. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and watch this video for future Artist Alley vlogs. Bye!